Well, look who it is.
The most important takeaway from earnings and the earnings call for you, please.
Well, thank you, Ed, for having me. For me, the most important was actually that we're moving on into this next phase of Tesla's growth, and all the markers that we have laid there are still there and are moving ahead in the same timeline and with the same vigor than anticipated.
No lies detected. Alexandra has summed up the earnings call brilliantly. I posted a short summary of some of the very positive news and confirmations regarding Tesla's future plans. It's amazing how differently people tend to react to these earnings calls. I noticed a trend. Traders, money managers, wealth advisors, and people who like to gamble in the stocks casino, very focused on the short term, somehow missing the incredible insights we gained. New things such as the fact that multiple OEMs have discussed licensing FSD from Tesla. Previously, the big bombshell was one major OEM, and it's now multiple. They're lining up, bro. This is big, but it's also doesn't relate to tomorrow or next week or next quarter, therefore must ignore. The idea of an XAI investment was also floated. Discussed this in an exclusive Patreon video yesterday, and the long and short of it is quite simple. Tesla's got about $30 billion in cash and cash equivalents. Musk proposing the idea on X, polling his audience. What do you think about Tesla investing $5 billion in XAI? And in principle, you'd have to be kind of mental not to support this. The alternative is to keep $5 billion of cash sitting around. And to put this in context, for those of you who don't really grasp the profound implications of cash sitting around being eroded passively due to inflation, if, in theory, back in 2019, Tesla had $30 billion of cash, which is what they have today, roughly. But if in 2019 they had $30 billion in cash, and they'd held that until today, in real terms, the same buying power of that $30 billion back in 2019 today would be about $24.5 billion. In other words, inflation alone would have more than eroded the value of Tesla's potential $5 billion investment in XAI. I'm sure you've heard the saying, cash is trash. There's a reason. Makes sense to have enough, but never more than enough. Option 1, maintain a pile of cash, watch it get eaten away due to inflation. Option 2, get in early in a Musk-led AI startup that has the potential to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x over time. Seems pretty easy. I mean, this alone is massive. However, it doesn't at all relate to Alexandra's point about Tesla's future plans. However, we also learned that there will be a few new products shown at the Robotaxi event. Previously, Tesla had not necessarily said either way. I'd been speculating there'll be at least 2, maybe 3. I've talked about this, so I won't rehash it. But we now have confirmation, ladies and gentlemen, that on 10/10 this year, Tesla will be unveiling multiple new products. And they confirmed that the new vehicle, with some of the learnings from the modular unboxed manufacturing system for the dedicated Robotaxi, will begin ramping next year. Okay? Confirmation, they're still on track, moving forward aggressively. We also learn that Optimus is still on track to have thousands of the things working in Tesla factories by the end of next year. Plus, 50% quarter-over-quarter increase in 4680 cell production, which is stunning. Clearly, Tesla has had a major breakthrough with production. 50% is massive. If this was 10, 20%, it'd still be impressive. 50%, bro. As a result, the first Cybertruck using Tesla in-house 4680 cells is going to enter production in Q4, and this will massively bring down costs, meaning Cybertruck becomes profitable soon. Tesla also doubling down on Dojo, also disclosing that the FSD price cuts are a big boost in take rates, which means more data, and obviously customers are price sensitive to FSD. Tesla has a huge option in the future if they need or want to increase take rates. They've got the pricing lever. Their cost of goods sold, as in vehicles predominantly, fell when you account for the Cybertruck ramp being a drag. If you remove that, they're driving their costs down. They also saw a rebound on EV orders. Energy demand obviously through the fucking roof. Did record revenue, record energy profits. Continue to invest big time in AI. And FSD 12.5 has 5 times the parameters of 12.4. And they're merging the highway and city stacks finally. This is huge. So to recap, multiple new products, hello, big deal, will be shown a couple of months from now. Next gen vehicle begins production next year. Insane increase in 4680 cell production. 4680 Cybertrucks Q4. Profitable Cybertruck soon. Doubling down on Dojo. Prices coming down. Hello. Massive. So much positive information here. Not one long-term negative. No, oh, we're going to delay this or stop that. This vehicle won't exist. The only thing that could be seen as potentially negative is Tesla, rightfully, confirming that they're putting on hold the Gig Mexico factory until they understand what's happening with the US presidential election and potential tariffs from importing vehicles in Mexico, which is irrelevant because as we already know, they're already putting this thing on hold and going to begin ramping the Robotaxi in Giga, Texas, not Mexico as originally proposed. So even that is non-news. If Tesla had come out and said, we're going to scrap the interim vehicle instead of production beginning next year, not great. But they didn't. If Tesla had said, we're indefinitely postponing the Robotaxi event, not great. Instead, they're telling us that it's on 10/10 and there's multiple new products that will be unveiled. If they said they're abandoning Dojo, it's not working out. Geez, Grok got a bit excited there. Different story. If they said Cybertruck is not likely to be profitable for a few years, problem. If they said we're having trouble ramping up 4680 cell production, bro! But this is the story of Tesla's life. Those with the short-term mentality or a short time horizon always seem to miss the forest for the trees. I mean, I want to be clear. Back in 2016, Tesla unveils the Model 3, next-gen vehicle, high volume, in line with their master plan. As Model 3 is ramping, the narrative is they're going bankrupt, there's no demand, the competition's coming, just wait till the big boys arrive, blah, 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 blah. A couple of years later, Tesla has literally the world's best-selling vehicle of any kind, the Model Y. The narrative is no longer Tesla's going bankrupt, the competition's coming. The narrative is now there's no demand, gross automotive margins, panic, panic. Then, of course, by the time Tesla has successfully scaled their Robotaxi fleet and is printing billions, tens of billions, then hundreds of billions of dollars in annual profits, the narrative is going to be, well, the Optimus humanoid robot's not really going to scale as big as Tesla thinks. It's, hey, what about the gross automotive margins on Optimus? They're lower than we thought this quarter. Time horizon makes all the difference.
So as a retail investor, I mean, I acknowledge that the market and your typical audience probably doesn't have the same large time horizon than we have, but for...
Oh, shit. Now, this shouldn't be funny. The reason I'm laughing is because when Alexandra just rightfully pointed out that typical audience of a finance network versus Tesla's retail investors tend to have a much longer investment horizon. The reason I laughed is because pointing out a fact almost comes across as a low-key roast. I mean, I don't think that was her intent, but it sure fucking sounds like it. Perhaps an analogy. In my opinion, short-term traders, stock gamblers, a lot of money managers, etc., have a lot of in common with a junkie. What I mean by this is their time horizon, their perspective. You can't get a more short-term time horizon as a person than being addicted to something like a drug addict, right? A total junkie. Instead of planning for the future, looking after your health, managing your finances, maintaining a job, healthy relationships, none of that stuff matters. You just care about getting your next fix. Nothing else matters. You can't even see tomorrow because you just need your next hit. The same kind of shortening of time horizon tends to happen to people with the trader mentality. They literally can't see tomorrow or next week or next year or next quarter or next decade. It's not possible. They're so fixated on right now, desperate to know, should they be bearish or bullish or negative or should I sell, should I buy? It really does seem to blind people from seeing the future. Again, I went through the list of things from Tesla's call yesterday. As Alexandra pointed out, so many positive things. Confirmation, reiteration that Tesla's on track, they're moving as fast as they can, new vehicles are happening, multiple new products, blah, 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 blah. That was the substance of the call. Oh, by the way, this is really awkward to have to do, but I have to ask the question, what the fuck is going on? Jim Cramer posting this. I know that Tesla's stock is down in after hours, but holy cow, what a terrific conference call. Tutorial on autonomy, humanoids, batteries. Really impressive. Now, I mean, he's not wrong, but Jim gets paid to be wrong for a living. So if he's not wrong and his job is to be wrong and he's... What the fuck is going on? When even Jim Cramer sees it, you really got to wonder. By the way, that was not his only post on X regarding Tesla. Quote, this sell-off has a mind of its own. There was nothing wrong with Google, and Tesla has a lot of things going for it no one cares about, but will matter years down the road. Is this the same guy on CNBS talking about years down the road? What is going on? I'm not done. Quote, I wonder if any of the sellers of Google or Tesla actually listened to the conference calls last night, because anyone who did knows these companies are doing extremely well. It is all zeitgeist and an attempt to get CEOs to say they are spending too much on AI. And I'm still not done. Cramer posting this, quote, this chart is a major reason why you want to be long Tesla for the long haul. What is going on? He's talking about being long Tesla for the long haul. He finishes, people need to listen to last night's great call. And the chart he was referring to, Tesla energy storage deployments, with a quarter-over-quarter doubling, which is roughly the third time that has happened in the last half decade. Just a couple of years ago, we can see one doubling right there. It's volatile, it's lumpy, but the trend is clear. So what's going on? Has somebody sneakily shifted us into a different version of the simulation in which Jim Cramer, Mr. Short Term, Mr. Trade this, buy this, sell this, up one day, down the next day, this is great, this is bad, the contraindicator of contraindicators, is now talking about Tesla's long term, saying investors want to hold the stock long term? that people should actually listen to their earnings call instead of like having a panicky short-term reaction and understand the long-term implications? What the fuck is going on? Wait, what's that? Sorry, someone from the audience just yelled something out. Oh, that's an interesting theory. Somebody just suggested that maybe Jim Cramer has initiated a long position in Tesla stock and finally he's willing to say what he already knew. That seems a bit conspiratorial. I'm not gonna put that in a video. People might get the wrong idea. Anyway, back to Alexandra on Doomberg.
For us, it is really, as a retail investor, just another buying opportunity. Also, do remember, we were at these prices at the beginning of the month, right? When we got the delivery and production numbers, the share price was about at the same level. When your channel broke the news that the Robotaxi day, the Robotaxi event was going to be delayed by 2 months, we were already a little bit higher. That's where we saw first fluctuations in the stock price. Well, now it is confirmed for October 10th. So it is a mere 2 months. Your colleague Greg is completely right. It is not a long delay. And there are technical reasons for it, but I also think, right. Tesla wants to be ready, wants to be sure to show whatever is necessary to convince the market, the retail investors, about autonomy, and that being the crucial part to Tesla's future.
Can you sell to us a little bit more, confirm to us how you understand full self-driving, the focus on AI, to eventually become some robo-taxi fleet, where suddenly we got a ride-hailing app out of Teslas. How does that become to bear in a good use, efficient business strategy way for you?
Well, I have my model, and I'm very happy to share that with us, but we don't have Tesla's model yet, right? That is what is going to be the quintessence of October 10th. So what I'm going to bring forward is my interpretation from former speeches of Elon and the Tesla team. So this may not be the current version. But for me, it seems very clear there's going to be a threefold business model. One, Tesla's own fleet, meaning cars that are either already in Tesla's possession, people handing back their leases or whatever else, inventory cars, whatever else they have in their own fleet, that are going to operate autonomously and that are going to be strategically put in cities at spots where they will have the best yield of a robotaxi business. Could be airports, could be shopping malls, whatever. I mean, that's probably to be tried out and found out how it's going to operate. So that is one part of it. The second part is that owners like me can participate and can enroll their cars instead of standing here in front of my house. It can just, travel around the day and pick up clients and bring them to the places they want to be brought to. And that's going to be a revenue sharing model. And then the third one is going to be the purpose-built robotaxis. So those are the ones that we're probably going to see.
Right, which is why the date of unveiling and seeing it was important. Just real quick, I want to think about the sell side for a second. One of Tesla's biggest bulls is basically moving to the sidelines after earnings. I'm talking about New Street's Pierre Ferragri. He's downgraded Tesla to neutral and is writing that the stock is at the target price they had, trading at 50 times their 2026 estimates. They see limited and unreliable valuation upside, etc. Now, we have you on the program as a retail or individual shareholder. How closely do you follow those kind of fundamental analyses that the sell side make and characters like Pierre?
Well, I follow Pierre a lot. He's French. I've lived a lot in France, so I love him. I love his accent. I love the way he's doing that. I think on this point he's wrong. And actually, I liked how he formulated his post, because he was not saying that he downgraded Tesla, but that New Street did it. So there was something bizarre about it. But let's put that aside. He doesn't see in the next 12 months major developments that could bring the stock higher. That's why they are putting it to neutral. I completely disagree. I think we're having in October, on October 10th, the Robotaxi Day. We'll also have in October, obviously, Q3 numbers. And then we're going to move into 2025 with a lot of announcement, actually 3 of them. We will have the Model 2, how Craig called it, the cheaper version of a Tesla, be presented in early 2025. We'll have production of Optimus at the end of 2025. Right. So there is a lot of things happening. And he actually referred to energy being at its already 20% 80% part of the profit of Tesla. Well, it's about 17% only. There is much more margin in energy. I mean, if you want to give me a minute to talk about energy revenues and profits, because they are not like a car immediately consumed at the moment of sales. They're actually over time, because when you sell energy, you actually get in the revenues and get in the profits in installments. And so there is a lot of waiting revenues and waiting profits already there. And there is much more to come. And I'm very surprised that Pierre didn't take care of that.
Alex, I'm really glad, Alexandra, that you bring up the other parts of just the cars, the Optimus side of things, the energy side of things. There's also the Dojo side of things. And many trying to understand the logic there. Just take a listen to what Elon said last night.
We are going to double down on Dojo. And we do see a path to being competitive with NVIDIA with Dojo. And I think we kind of have no choice, because the demand for NVIDIA is so high.
NVIDIA shares down, as is most of the market today, but some saying, look, because maybe this is a lack of demand that's going to come from Tesla going forward. Was that a surprise, ultimately, that they're really going to be ramping up Dojo because they are worried about the supply side?
I'm so pleased you're bringing this up, Carolina. Thank you so much. Well, it is actually funny, because over the last 5-6 years, Dojo was always one of those topics in the earnings calls. So, shall I do it? Shall I not? Am I doomed not? It was really going, it was a dance. And I've actually done about 6 months ago a whole timeline of non-committal. We would like to do it, but we're really not sure. Don't bet on it. Dojo is really not so clear yet. This is the first time that Elon clearly said, we actually have no choice. We're going to double down on it. We're going to do it. And this is a fabulous news, because these supercomputers are so far ahead and will make the whole Tesla infrastructure, the whole digestion of videos and output so much more profitable, rather than purchasing the NVIDIA chips.
Alexandra, we're running out of time. We have a lot to get to. So I want to ask, would you vote in favor of Tesla investing in XAI per the poll and the exchange last night?
I love that you did the yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of those. So we're close to 69%, which is always a fun number, isn't it? Yes, I would actually vote for it, but not unconditionally. You know how I like doing the analysis of things. This morning, we just had news that OpenAI will probably produce another $5 billion loss this year. I think these AI companies need to be thoroughly analyzed. In principle, I love it. I completely understand why it was a segregated entity from the start. Elon re-explained that yesterday. Those engineers don't want to be in a mega cap company. They want to have all the upside of a small startup. So it needed to be set up that way. But also, I fully understand that Tesla needs grok, needs all this input. And Tesla has at the moment $30 billion of a cash line. So investing $5 billion into XAI could be a good idea.
On Tesla's potential XAI investment, obviously, Musk's followers on X overwhelmingly in support of this idea. And as I mentioned earlier, the alternative is to literally keep the money sitting around in cash, being eroded automatically by inflation. $30 billion sitting around. Admittedly, not all of this is in cash, but a huge chunk is. In my opinion, as a Tesla investor, Tesla the company has a duty to keep the minimal necessary cash on hand and to seek a return on everything else, above and beyond what Tesla needs to invest in their business and what they believe is a reasonably cautious safety net in case of emergency. Tesla's biggest struggle over the next few years, in my opinion, is going to be finding ways to deploy their cash, their war chest. It's pretty likely that Tesla will build out their own fleet of dedicated robotaxis, but the math on this, it's kind of wild. I've done the numbers on these in the past, and if you guys want to see more detail on that, head to Patreon with the link in the pinned comment, join at the investor level and above, and check out my Tesla valuation model, of which I made some big updates yesterday. But let's just say, hypothetically, it cost Tesla $20,000, $25,000 to produce, not to sell, but to produce their dedicated robotaxi. These things in a single year could easily pay for their entire cost. Worst case, maybe it's 2 years. And again, I'm not making these numbers up. I've done the math. I encourage you to do likewise. If that's the case, even if Tesla were to build their own robotaxis, meaning they have to eat the entire cost of the robotaxi, and then it slowly repays itself, they still won't be able to spend their $30 billion faster than they can bring it back in. Let's just take an extreme example and imagine that Tesla could somehow miraculously begin producing at a rate of 1 million robotaxis per year, all of which they keep and operate themselves. That's $25 billion. Seems like a lot, right? Only leaves $5 billion. But obviously, if Tesla is producing 1 million of these per year, that's only a few thousand, less than 3,000 per day. So on day one, you've got less than 3,000 of these things on the road that start paying themselves back off. On day two, another 3,000, on and on and on. By the time it gets to the end of the year and they put their 1 millionth dedicated Robotaxi on roads, those Robotaxis that were deployed in early January, February, March, April, May, they've already recouped most of, if not their entire cost. So suddenly Tesla's not out 25 billion, but 20, 21, 19, 18, 17. And this is assuming an absurd rate of production of 1 million per year. And then in year two, this is where things get fucking ridiculous. Let's assume that the vehicles take 1 year to pay themselves off. You can use your own assumptions. The point still stands. If it takes 1 year to pay itself off, what happens in year two? Pure profit. Meaning in year two, they could produce 2 million of these things. And then by year three, they've now got 3 million of the things on roads. Never mind how many they can produce in year three. And those Robotaxis from year one have already paid for themselves and then paid for half of next year. And are now, it's like an infinite money printer. So the point here, Tesla will not know what to do with their cash. It's going to pile up at a faster rate than they could reasonably spend it on their own needs as a business, even in absurd scenarios in which they're literally making millions of Robotaxis to operate themselves. The same, of course, will be true of the humanoid robots. They'll pay for themselves quickly. So this is going to become a big issue for Tesla. What the fuck do they do with their cash? The last thing I want as a Tesla investor is for the company to be sitting around with a fuck ton of money in the bank being eroded passively due to inflation. I've also mentioned there's a lot of synergies between XAI and Tesla. Tesla needs an LLM, e.g. Grok, for their vehicles and then ultimately the humanoid robot to interface, to talk to, communicate with. XAI, on the path to developing artificial general intelligence, is missing the most critical piece of the puzzle, the real-world data, the real-world AI, which Tesla has. There's a lot of overlap and synergy here. It's a match made in investor heaven. By the way, one final thing. What's going on if Jim Cramer is now talking about Tesla in the long term and actually listen to the earnings call and, bro, am I still asleep? Is this a dream? What the fuck is going on? Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. And I haven't missed a daily video in more than 3 years. Must be a coincidence, right? Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. But don't take my word for it. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. By the way, viewer, that makes 2 of us. On to the next. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. This viewer's been taking AG1 for 8 months and says, what an investment. Another. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR or I can keep going. There's plenty more to come. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. If you're still skeptical, hey, I don't blame you. Everyone on the planet seems to be promoting AG1 now, but guess what? They weren't nearly 3 years ago when I had this to say privately to my Patreon audience before there was a relationship, when I was asked about what I was doing for my health, energy, and so on. Just sharing my genuine, honest thoughts about a product I'd recently discovered that was at the time called Athletic Greens, now AG1. If I could only recommend one supplement to take, Athletic Greens, and I'm not getting paid to say this, Athletic Greens is a fucking game changer. I cannot believe how effective this is. No longer having a lack of energy in the afternoons. It's fucking amazing. There's only one thing to recommend, seriously. Try Athletic Greens. You won't go back. So obviously, just like Elon Musk is a liar, a fraud, a con man, a scammer, a fake engineer, and Tesla's going bankrupt, you shouldn't trust that guy from about 3 years ago who, without any financial incentive, was promoting this product to his audience on Patreon when they were asking about health and what he's doing for supplements. Because obviously, there was some other reason he recommended that, obviously. Not sure what it was, but Don't trust that guy. And all the testimonials, like my mental game has improved with AG1. I feel better than ever. I'm so impressed I've bought it for both my parents. I feel more focused and have better digestion. Incredible difference. No more afternoon fatigue. It's relieved gut issues. These are all just obviously fake testimonials from fake people. Right? Wrong. Just try it. Unless you hate yourself. If you hate yourself and you don't even want to risk possibly feeling better, this is not for you. But for everyone else, what's the worst that could happen? Try it for a month. See how you feel. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR. You'll get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. And you'll take the colossal risk that maybe you might have a similar experience to some of the people whose testimonials we've read in this video.